folks. It's official. They finally canceled the latest incarnation of Knight Rider. Not a big shocker. If I grew up with the original series, and I don't know, I'm commenting on this just because it's fun to make fun of. I mean, I love the show growing up. Clearly, it was a very silly little escapist show that it worked back in the early 80s, early to mid 80s, but it just doesn't work now. But hey, it's not the first time they brought back Knight Rider. There was a series called Team Knight Rider in the 90s, in which there were I think 4 different vehicles that were artificially intelligent, and there was a team, and it was real cheesy. And the Hawk had nothing to do with that. Would refuse to guest star, and the current show basically took place, after the events of the original Knight Rider series, and the creator of KITT, who created the Knight Industries 2000, created a Knight Industries 3000, which is now a Mustang, voiced by esteemed actor Val Kilmer. And the thing that's dumb about it is, in the original series, there was no, the creator of KITT in the current series was this Dr. Charles Grayman. There was no Dr. Grayman in the original series. It was created by Wilton Knight, who died and, on his deathbed, sort of had that whole conversation with David Hasselhoff's character in the first series, and and there wasn't a lot of backstory necessarily in that, but it was a very cheesy show. Basically, there wasn't a lot of they made this artificially intelligent car. Why they would put a self-aware computer into a Trans Am is beyond me, because it's an absurd show. And but it was on the air for a good 4 years there, hit series. But so they decided they made the pilot episode, the pilot movie that was on last I think February of 2008, and that wasn't that good, not really. But they did get the Hawk to show up at the end, and the premise was that in the new Knight Rider, KITT was partnered up with Michael Knight's son, who was named Michael Tracer for some reason. Pretty lame name, and he wound up taking the surname of Knight after they arranged for his to fake his death. And anyway, I won't get into that too much, but so when the series began, it began with the sort of Knight Foundation, I guess, as it existed at that point, sans Devon, no mention of Bonnie. Bonnie doesn't guest star to check up what's going on with the new KITT. And yeah, there's another stupid thing is, with the old KITT, you see the old KITT one time in the pilot movie, and he's in a garage and he's covered up in a tarp, and you see sort of, that it's the inside of it, the the computer has been sort of dismantled. You see the steering wheel, and you see the license plate hanging in the garage of Dr. Charles Grayman. And the new KITT, the Mustang GT, the Shelby, I think it's a Shelby GT Mustang, takes off when after these perpetrators come in and try to steal it. That was in the pilot episode, but that's gone. You never see the old KITT again. They don't allude to that whatsoever. It's just still sitting in the garage. And so halfway through, anyway, getting back to the series run, halfway through the series, they, I guess, killed off half the cast. They got rid of they're not working with the FBI anymore, the government. The KITT's creator, Charles Grayman, dies. And so in a plane, well, the plane, well, there's a when the series begins, KITT is instead of like the semi, like tractor trailer truck that had the chest piece on the side that used to service KITT when he was en route. They don't have that. They have actually a C-140, I think, plane that sort of like will fly just low enough above the highway for the rear cargo ramp to come down, and then KITT would back out and do the little famous spin around and take off in the other direction, which is freaking, I thought was a bit stupid, but so they got that the plane crashes, and Charles Grayman's dead, his daughter and new Michael Knight, and the hot Asian computer whiz and the geeky computer whiz are still remaining. So it's basically a team of 4 left over to resume the Knight Foundation's mission, and this show just didn't really pick up any steam. It was really badly written. There were some freaking bad just storylines. They did everything they could possibly do with that premise back in the 80s, and they kind of recycled some of it. The first series back when they revamped things in the mid-season involved Carr, which is KITT's evil twin from the first series, and it wouldn't make any sense that if originally when KITT's prototype Carr from the 80s was evil, why would you make another evil prototype? I will give him kudos for getting Peter Cullen to voice KITT again, but if you're an uber geek, you know that Peter Cullen voices Optimus Prime. But it was so bad. It was just really terrible. And Carr this time transformed into appropriately enough, a fucking robot, which was completely goddamn absurd. But Knight Rider was fucking horrible. It was a horrible series. I mean, I watched it. Yes, I did watch it. I was probably going to continue to watch it to see if they brought back Goliath, which I thought would have been awesome. I don't know how that would work, but I'm sure they'd make it work. They just get that actor Justin Bruin, who plays the new Michael Knight, to whip on a goatee and work an indestructible tractor trailer into the script. I'm sure they could do it if they could work in Carr. By the way, Carr is, if you don't know, is spelled K-A-R-R. It's the Knight Automated Roving Robot. Pretty damn creative they are. Pretty damn creative. But anyway, yeah. I can't say that I was shocked that Knight Rider got canceled. Probably not the best move to turn KITT into a Mustang, and it just kind of, I don't know. This was a cooler KITT, clearly. Wouldn't you agree? And I think that about says it all there.